So before we talk about ECLab, let's talk about the hidden costs of extracurricular research for independent consultants. So using a typical 10-student practice and some conservative assumptions, if your effective rate is about $250 an hour and an EC research session takes around 4 hours, that's roughly $1,000 each time you do EC research. And most students don't need this once, but they need it repeatedly. So if you do this about 3 sessions per student per year, that becomes $3,000 per student per year, just in research and planning time. Now let's scale that to 10 students. That's going to be $30,000 a year, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because the workflow is built on manual searching, comparing, cross-checking, and redoing the work each time the student's profile changes. So the important point is that this isn't just time, it's high-value consulting capacity being spent on low-leverage tasks. So now that we've seen the cost of doing this the hard way, let's shift to the practical part and let's go through the EC research tips from our very own research team. So the first way we cut EC research time is pretty simple. You search smarter and track what matters. So most of the time, the drain happens because we start with generic Google searches and then we lose good options because we don't have assistant to track them. So if you see on the left, our research team uses high-yield intent optimized search queries. And instead of searching something broad like summer programs, we structure the query so it returns student-relevant results right away. So it's pretty straightforward, but a good formula is interest with activity type, high school, and the location or the year. So for example, biology research programs, high school students 2026, it instantly filters out most relevant results. And on the right is the part that most a simple tracking system. So competitions and programs change deadlines and eligibility all the time. So we keep a lightweight database of the best opportunities, and we check official pages periodically, so nothing slips through the cracks. So we also use a dedicated email just for updates and follow-ups because many of these run on annual or semi-annual cycles. So the big idea here is better inputs and a repeatable tracking loop. And that's how you go from hours of searching every time to reusing a system that gets faster with every student. So next, once you're searching smarter, the next biggest lever is where you search. Our rule is to mine the best sources that are credible and time sensitive because most wasted time comes from digging through low quality directories, outdated blog lists, or random top 50 programs pages that aren't maintained. So we use 4 main source categories, the first one being official competitions and associations. These are the highest credibility sources, and it's best to start at the national or international organization. Then navigate to the local chapter for the student's region because that's where the real eligibility and deadlines live. And second is local government internship pages. City, county, and state sites often post student internships and youth programs, and they can be surprisingly strong opportunities. The key is to bookmark them and recheck regularly because postings can be seasonal. And third is hospitals and medical institutions. So especially for health research or science-oriented students, hospitals and medical institutions often offer internships, volunteering, or research adjacent programs that are location-specific and highly credible. And lastly, social and community channels. So Discord, Reddit, and community groups are often the earliest places you'll hear about new programs, especially student-led initiatives. The trade-off is that information there isn't always verified, so we suggest confirming on an official page before recommending them. So the tip at the bottom is the whole strategy, which is to use official pages for credibility, use community channels for early discovery, and then verify details on the official page before you recommend anything. And that way you can stay efficient without sacrificing quality. So now here's the shift with ECLab. Your hours will become minutes. So using the exact same assumptions from the previous slide, most consultants spend roughly 12 hours per student per year on EC research across multiple sessions, updates, and rechecking options. And with ECLab, that becomes about 30 minutes, not because we're skipping steps, but because the steps are automated. So we're pulling from a curated EC database and matching instantly based on the student's interests, grade level, performance, location, and profile strength. So the impact is straightforward. 12 hours become 30 minutes per student with 10 students. That's 120 hours recovered per year. And at $250 an hour, that's roughly $30,000 worth of consulting time freed up. And the best part is that this isn't just time saved, but it's time redirected. Instead of Googling and compiling lists, you're spending more time on what clients actually pay for, which is strategy, positioning, essays, and parent communication. So what ECLab does is it takes the repetitive research work off your plate while increasing the quality of recommendations with over 1 million curated data points. And this slide is where the time savings turns into real business growth without lowering quality. From the previous slide, ECLab returns about 120 EC research hours per year in a typical 10-student practice. The key idea is that those hours don't disappear, but they become capacity. Because ECLab cuts EC research from about 12 hours per student to 30 minutes, the EC research portion of your workflow is roughly 24 times faster. So in the same amount of research time you used to spend supporting 10 students EC planning, you can support many more students or reinvest that time into higher value advising. This isn't to say that you'll suddenly take 240 students starting next week, which is not realistic because you still do strategy, meetings, essays, and family communication. But the point is that EC research stops being the bottleneck. So to give you a practical revenue template so you can plug your own numbers into, if you add just 5 students at your current fee, that's meaningful incremental revenue. You add 10 students, it becomes a major lift, and add 20 students, it becomes a step change without working longer hours because you removed a major time sink. So ECLab doesn't replace your expertise, but it protects it. You spend less time searching and more time doing what actually drives outcomes and referrals. So let's move on to ECLab's core features. So the core 3 features is first, the verified EC search. So instead of starting with Google tabs, you start with a curated database. You can search in seconds. You can then filter by your students' current status, including grade level, intended major, location, and deadlines, and then save shortlists for each student so that you're not rebuilding the same list from scratch every time. And second is Robin AI matching, and this is where the personalization happens. You give Robin the student context, such as interests, profile strength, constraints, and it returns ranked opportunities instead of generic lists. And you can do a fast Q&A on fit, timing, and constraints. So you make decisions faster and avoid the generic irrelevant ECs that often happen with ChatGPT searches. And third is the white label outputs. So once you have the plan, you can generate EC reports in one click under your brand. You can also enter in tasks and timelines to keep students on track and a way to track readiness across your caseload so you're not managing everything in scattered docs and spreadsheets. All right, so essentially with ECLab, you can search faster, match smarter, and deliver polished outputs instantly so your time goes back to strategy, mentoring, and results. So now we'll move on to the demo. This is what you first see when you first log into ECLab. So you got the dashboard here, and I will walk you through step by step how you would do the EC research using ECLab. So if I go to my students, this is where you will input all of your student profiles here. I'm going to show you how you would do EC research using ECLab here. So let's say maybe you want to search summer programs for 2026. So you create that session, and then you can do, so here it's giving me, so here you're able to, it's right now, it's giving me 719 results from over 7,000 ECs that is suitable for this specific student. But here you can filter out what you're looking for. So we're looking for summer programs. So I'm gonna select only the summer programs. And you can see that now it has dropped down to 283 results, which are only summer programs. So what I can do is you can either do that, a manual search, just to see what kinds of options you have. You can also click on these and go directly to the website here. That's one way to do it. Another way is to just grab an AI. Summer programs for Elena. If you search that, what the Robin AI is going to do is it's going to search out any relevant summer programs that Elena can join. So it says it has found 5 summer programs that align well with Elena's interests and goals, offering a mix of academic and creative opportunities. So these are the best 5 that is suggested for Elena. What you can also do is you can select these 5. Maybe you want to know the top 2 that Elena can join, maybe. So you can ask from the selected summer programs, which 2 are the best to participate in. I'm sure you guys will have way better questions than me as consultants, but it's giving me these 2. The HMS Med Science Summer Program, which is run by the Harvard Medical School, or the Harvard Chan Sea Change Youth Summit. So these 2, it's recommending. So what I can do is I can save those 2. And once that's saved, maybe you want to create a report on that. So what you can do is head on over to reports, create new report, summer programs 2026, create report. And then this is where the EC report happens. So you can import the search that you just did. And it's bringing me these 2 extracurriculars. Write a summary of the 2 extracurriculars and why they are suggested for Elena. And what it's going to do, it's going to just give me a quick report that you can generate to share with families. So it has given me a summary of the 2 activities and why they're good for Elena to participate in. So I can insert that And I can work on my so I can just delete this. And you can also type in whatever you need to. So that's where you can edit your content here. So you can save report. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to download the PDF. And you can share this directly to the parent and your student, where they can click on the link and check out the summer program themselves, like so. So it's very quick. It's saving you tons of time on EC Research. And again, you can put all your logos and your information in here. So it's going to be a white label report. All right, so that pretty much ends the webinar. Thank you again so much for joining at this early hour.